The political temperature isn't just rising anymore, it's boiling. Across cities, borders, and continents, something has shifted. This is no longer about statements or headlines. People are in the streets. Leaders are speaking openly. The world is no longer pretending that Donald Trump's behavior is normal, tolerable, or harmless. For the first time in a long while, Trump isn't setting the pace. He's reacting to resistance. And at the center of that resistance, visible, coordinated, deliberate, stands Canada. More specifically, Mark Carney. What we're seeing globally isn't scattered outrage. It's focused anxiety. From Europe to North America and beyond, people are mobilizing not over partisan disputes, over fear that the basic rules holding the international system together are being dismantled in real time. Threats of force are being normalized. Annexation rhetoric is spoken aloud. International law is treated as optional. When protests spill across borders, it's usually because the public senses leaders may not act fast enough. History suggests that instinct is often right. This is the alarm being sounded, does not handle resistance well. He doesn't adjust, he escalates. As criticism intensifies, his language grows sharper, more erratic, threatening Greenland, Mexico. Each escalation feels less strategic and more reactive. The signature of a leader losing control of the narrative. For years, Canada's instinct was restraint, stay quiet, avoid provocation, wait it out. That posture fails when instability flows from the top. Under Carney, Canada has shifted. Not by shouting louder than Trump, but by positioning itself where Trump cannot ignore it. Canada is no longer just responding to events. It is helping organize the response. And that difference matters.
What is Donald Trump doing? Well, Donald Trump has ordered, according to the Daily Mail, he's officially ordered Special Forces commanders in the United States military to draw up a plan for the invasion of Greenland. This is getting serious and very specific. He's made an order about an invasion of Greenland, which could be imminent. Now, the one thing holding it back is that senior military figures, according to the Daily Mail, believe that such an invasion would destroy NATO, would be unlawful. Donald Trump doesn't care and seems that he's more interested in destroying NATO right there. Now, in response, what we're also learning is GB reports that the United Kingdom may be sending troops into Greenland in order to call Donald Trump's bluff after Donald Trump's takeover threats. So this article goes on to talk about how the UK, along with its European allies, are saying, well, why don't we just put our troops there and say, look, we are doing a NATO surge in Greenland, call Donald Trump's bluff, prove that it's not about security against Russia or China in Greenland, because Greenland would already be protected by the NATO alliance already.
European leaders didn't suddenly decide to speak out. They were pushed there. For months, Carney reinforced a simple argument behind closed doors: silence invites escalation. When Trump threatens borders, it isn't just one country at risk, it's the entire rules-based order Europe depends on. That argument landed. Leaders like Emmanuel Macron openly warned that Trump's threats against Canada and talk of a 51 state would damage the global system, a turning point. Canada was no longer standing alone. The world was standing with Canada. Carney's upcoming visit to China is not routine diplomacy. It's a calculated signal, one Washington will read very carefully. For decades, Canada's posture was predictable: Europe for politics, the US for economics, Asia kept at arm's length. Balance collapsed the moment trade dependence became a weapon. Carney understands the shift. By engaging China directly at the highest level, including talks with Xi Jinping, Canada is demonstrating leverage beyond Washington and the willingness to use it. This matters because it hits Trump where it hurts most: the U.S. auto industry. Chinese electric vehicles are cheaper, increasingly competitive. Exactly why the US has worked so hard to keep them out. If Canada opens the door to Chinese EVs, pressure appears at America's border, undermining pricing power, supply chains, and investor confidence in US automakers. Trump fears that scenario. Once Chinese EVs gain a foothold in Canada, the barrier protecting the US auto market no longer looks secure. That is the strategic point of this trip. Canada isn't choosing China over the United States. It's rebalancing leverage. With Europe aligned politically and China entering the picture economically, Canada becomes far harder to pressure. Tariffs lose their sting, threats lose their force. Carney isn't daring Trump to react. He's making reaction ineffective. Canada isn't switching sides. It isn't abandoning alliances. It isn't provoking confrontation. It's doing something far more dangerous to someone like Trump, proving independence. And when a country shows it has real options, intimidation stops working.
So now is America going to war with Iran? Because that was what your threat was. If they kill the protesters, they're killing the protesters. So now what? So now you go to war with Greenland, you go to war with Iran. You go to war with Venezuela, which you call a legal operation, which is ridiculous. You threaten wars with Cuba, Colombia. You threaten to bomb Mexico, and that's why they're protesting there. I mean, what the hell? The hell is even going on right now?
Trump thrives on chaos. He benefits when leaders panic, fracture, or rush to appease him one by one. He cannot handle his calm, coordinated resistance grounded in legitimacy. Carney doesn't insult Trump. He doesn't escalate theatrically. He doesn't play the outrage game. Instead, he builds alliances that make outrage irrelevant. And that is far more dangerous. This isn't just about Trump as an individual. It's about whether the world allows threats to replace rules, force to replace law, and intimidation to become acceptable diplomacy. The protests, the European pushback, Canada's diplomacy, the China visit, these are not separate stories. They are the immune response of a global system under stress. Trump may still dominate headlines. He no longer controls the direction. The streets are pushing back. Allies are aligning, and leaders like Mark Carney are stepping forward, not to provoke chaos, but to contain it. And in moments like this, containment isn't weakness, it's leadership. If you value calm, clear analysis at a time when global politics is getting louder and more dangerous, make sure you subscribe to Economy Insights. This channel exists to cut through the noise and explain what these moments actually mean for Canada. Not just tomorrow, but down the road. Want to hear from you. With protests growing worldwide, Europe pushing back, and Carney now engaging China, do you think the world is finally drawing a line with Trump? Or is this only the beginning of something bigger? Let me know in the comments. I read them all. I'll see you in the next one.